Hi, welcome to this Astrology Chat Live for January 28th, 2025. I'm Gina. I'm so excited to be here with you today to talk about the current astrology. I want to focus on a super powerful transit that is perfecting today, which is the conjunction of Pluto and Mercury in Aquarius. I want to highlight this on the chart. It's what's interesting about this transit is it's not really just about Mercury and Pluto. The moon and the sun are involved too. You can see right now that they're on either side of those two planets that are forming a conjunction. And that's really significant because it shows that we've just had a Pluto-Sun conjunction, first of all, which really matters. And the moon being there as well shows that we are about to come into a new moon. And that's significant as well. So although we're focused on this Pluto-Mercury conjunction today, I do want to mention a little bit the sun and the moon as well, because that is really important as well. And it's definitely a part of what's going on. So I hope that you can see this okay. I hope this is well situated. This is an incredibly powerful and positive transit. Are there some potentials for difficulty? 100%. Pluto has a lot of power. And so, of course, that power can sort of be wielded negatively. But this is true really of any planet. And I think that sometimes Pluto gets a really bad reputation. So I'm hoping that what I can show today is the way in which this enhances, deepens, intensifies, levels up the Mercury and Pluto transit. And how there's some really incredible potential, not just today, not just this with this transit, but really all week and with everything that's going on in this sector of the chart. So let's start first by just talking about just Mercury and Aquarius by itself, because my hope is that in putting up a few of the keywords that correspond with that, then building off of that and adding in the Pluto energy, it can help you to see what I mean in terms of the positive potential of this transit so that you can really take advantage of it. Basically, right now is a great time to be on the lookout for opportunities and to be open-minded, because these new innovative strategies, these breakthroughs, there's just real potential this week. So let's sort of break it down and take it one thing at a time. So first, let's just talk about Mercury and Aquarius. Let's just talk about Mercury and Aquarius and a few potentials of that. So I want to occasionally put some words up here on the screen because I think it just helps with clarity. And I hope it'll be helpful. So the first thing is unconventional thinking. Aquarius is unconventional. Aquarius does things a little differently. Let's do it this way. Let's start with let's start with a dim color. And then when I do the Pluto, we can add in the richer colors so I can show you what I mean in terms of how the signature deepens. Okay, so just Mercury and in Aquarius can be about unconventional thinking. It can also be sort of similarly, so let me put these two together. Unconventional communication, right? So Mercury is thinking and it's also communicating. So it can affect our ideas on all of those levels. And Mercury into Aquarius really emphasizes those kinds of sort of, well, first of all, a focus on intellectual pursuits, right? Because of the Mercury thing. And then because of Aquarius, it's gaining new perspectives. It can be finding unique solutions, right? It can be, let's add that because I think that's a good term. Thinking about things a little bit differently, talking about things a little bit differently. And that can kind of, like I said, be coming from a little bit of a detached place. You know, that's the very interesting side of Aquarius. It's sort of detached and a humanitarian at the same time. You know, things can sort of flow toward collective goals, things around equality, certainly topics about progress, about the future. That's very Aquarian. And then having a little bit of a sort of detached perspective where things are sort of more logical and less emotional. That's very Aquarius as well. And I think that that's part of where the uniqueness and the unconventional comes from. You know, at its highest level, I feel like Aquarius is actually super highly evolved because it sort of drops the self a little bit for the collective. It's almost like Aquarius loves humanity. Individuals might be a little bit of a different story, right? But really my point here is that sort of these new ideas, these unconventional ways of thinking, unconventional ways of communicating, innovative. It's very innovative. It does things differently in a way, you haven't before. And that's especially true with Pluto here, because Pluto is sort of emphasizing that need for newness. So I could have used the word innovative or unique or unconventional any of the places here. So it's sort of innovative thinking, not just unconventional thinking. It's innovative communication, not just unconventional, right? Aquarius is not afraid to break out of doing things in a normal way. Aquarius is not afraid to break free from norms in the slightest. So thinking out of the box, speaking out of the box, finding solutions out of the box, having new sort of visions for the future. Okay, so if you have Mercury in Aquarius in your chart, natally, all of these things apply to you as well. We're really just talking about the Mercury aspect of the signature here. All of that is the potential of Mercury in Aquarius. So even if Pluto wasn't there, even if the sun wasn't there, even if the moon wasn't there, we would have that going on. But then when we add Pluto, Pluto adds an intensity. Pluto adds a depth. And when I'm done talking about this, I'm going to bring in the sun and the moon here too. So, you know, I'm just kind of layering here for the sake of clarity. Okay, so Pluto is conjunct Mercury today. This is active for the next several days. It started yesterday. I'd say give it to the end of the weekend. You know, within 4 or 5 degrees, we're going to be feeling this. So there's some real potential here. And then we're going to have that new moon at the same time. I'll talk about that in a second. So hard not to get ahead of me. Ahead of myself. So anyway, we have this Mercury in Aquarius with these transformative conversations. And then when we add Pluto, you know, all that forward thinking. When we add Pluto, it's an intense transit and it sort of deepens everything. So I would describe it more as, and this is where I'm going to change the color just to kind of make this point, hopefully. Oops. Not the color of the... There we go. Mental clarity. I'm sorry. Not clarity. Intensity. Intensity is different than clarity. Okay, so when we start to work with Pluto in the signature, we don't just have um, new things happening mentally. We have like, it can be very, very heavy. You can be having a lot of ideas. They can be very deep ideas. You can find that you're moving all around. You're thinking about things in ways you haven't before. You know, maybe having some of those breakthrough ideas. I mean, you could even describe them as transformative ideas. Right? They're not just unique solutions. They're truly transformative ideas. The kind of thing that really causes breakthroughs in our understanding or in our communication, where we really are thinking about things from a different perspective. It can be very analytical as well. It can be sort of learning new things, like researching. You know, this isn't all just coming from like a light bulb going off in your head out of nowhere. You can really be digging in about something and doing some research. Like, let's say you could be if you're looking for a new job, let's say, this kind of a transit might cause you to think out of the box a little bit, look in a way or in a place that you haven't before, and then you might come across something that's even a little different than that, and it just really changes your whole idea about what you might want to be doing, for example. It is those kinds of breakthroughs. But see how that research is in there? You know, just like anything with astrology, we have to step into this. We have to move through the astrology with our feet, you know, with our actions. And so I think that within this transit, there's some research and analysis behind it that sort of allows these ideas and these solutions to come to the surface. They're not just spontaneous. Most of the time. I'm sure occasionally they could be. I think something else that's really important to say with this is that sometimes things can come to the surface that you didn't know. So like hidden secrets exposed. You could learn something that you didn't know before. You could share something with someone else that you haven't before. You could be the one revealing the hidden secret. But there is a way in which things get exposed with a transit like this, where things sort of come to light. And that is part of what leads to the clarity and the change as well. And really the potential for breakthroughs in long-standing areas of our life. Problems that have been stuck. Problems that haven't changed for a long time. Somehow we might be able to think about it a little bit differently. So I was speaking at the beginning of this video about how I think this is a positive transit and how Pluto gets a bad reputation sometimes. And I think it's because Pluto is very powerful, and power can certainly be used in a negative way. And when it is, it's pretty difficult to experience. And I will say that that's possible with this, right? People could show up, if this power was wielded in a negative way, people could show up manipulative, right? Controlling. But instead of that, the higher level of that, the higher octave of that, would be to use your words in a way that is empowering. You know, to use it to inspire, to use it to lead others in a positive way. So you can kind of see how just the Mercury and Pluto transit alone does sort of open us up mentally, right? But then Pluto coming in there takes it up a notch, takes it to another level. So with Pluto and Aquarius, with Mercury in Aquarius, we have that unconventional thinking, innovative communications, new solutions, breaking free from problems that have been stuck, breaking free of doing things in a normal way. And we're able to envision a future in a new way. But then you add in Pluto, and it just adds a level of mental intensity. The ideas and the changes become more transformative. Things that we haven't known about before that we need to know about get exposed. We have the potential for actual breakthroughs, and the conversations that we have themselves can be a bit heavy. When used for the best, it can be empowering. Do be on the lookout for sort of the shadow side of that, for manipulation, for someone being too controlling, things of that nature, because that can happen with Pluto as well. Okay, so it's also worth mentioning. I almost feel like I have to get rid of this, which is crazy, but I do, because I have to show you the rest of the chart. Is that just going to take forever? No, it won't. I want to talk about how we're building to this new moon, okay? Because I have to show you something over here. So, Pluto and the Sun came into a conjunction last week for the first time with Pluto. Let me make this big. With Pluto in Aquarius. They had their first conjunction. And I think, and many astrologers feel that that's sort of activated that Pluto in Aquarius. Once it's illuminated by the sun, kind of comes online in a different way. And when the moon comes around to meet up with the sun, and we have that new moon in Aquarius tomorrow, that is a really powerful time as well. So it's a great time for sort of a reset of the areas of life that are related to Aquarius, which have had so much going on right now during this season with Pluto moving in here at the same time. What's really significant is that the sun at this time of the new moon in Aquarius, it will be just a couple days after. It's on Friday, it's exact, but it's already with an orb now. The sun here in Aquarius is forming a beautiful trine to Jupiter. I actually want to label it. It's such a positive, lovely transit. And it's so hopeful. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, everybody. Let's just ditch this. I hope that this is helpful and not harmful. I think I have been getting faster at it, but the faster I get, the better. I know it's sort of slow, and thank you for sticking around if you're sticking around. Okay, that's what I just wanted to show for a second. So we also at the same time have the sun trining Jupiter, which is one of the most positive aspects in astrology. One of the single most positive transits you can have. It's optimistic, it's expansive, it's confident, it's going into new horizons, learning new things, communicating in new ways, growing intellectually, finding new opportunities. It's curious, it's joyful, it's collaborative. This is a beautiful, beautiful transit, and to have it going on at the same time as this Mercury conjunct Pluto in Aquarius is really a wonderful thing. So I'm very, very hopeful for this week. I think we should all be on the lookout for new ideas, new opportunities, new conversations. Just be open and also keep moving through your life, right? We have to move through astrology on our feet. We have to go after what we want. We have to manifest on our feet. It's not just wishing and hoping up into the sky, right? That's not how it happens. It's about aligning yourself with the potential, being open to that, and just keeping moving forward, following your inner guidance, which to me means listening to what feels good and moving away from what feels bad, especially in your body, right? So if you have a feeling, oh, I really want to go sit on that couch right now and grab a blanket, Take that second to do that for yourself. Anything, any messages that you get around the body that are intuitive like that, listen to them. It is a deep, profound way of connecting with yourself and honoring yourself and aligning yourself with your highest potential. I know it sounds so simple and funny, but it's the first step. You know, you're getting comfortable, you're getting in that place so that you can relax and so that you can feel good and confident and positive. And that's how you receive creative solutions. That's how you're open when someone comes to you with a new idea. And with this kind of transit, maybe they do come a little aggressive, a little controlling, you know, and can you pick the positive message out through that? Taking care of yourself, feeling good physically is about the best thing you can do toward that, I think. I am looking at the comments right now. (10:30, 2001). I am, just to say, I'm all set with the reading now for today. I'm done talking about this Mercury conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. I'm just going to take a few minutes to look at the comments and answer some questions. And if you'd like to leave any questions in the comments, please do. Even if you're watching this later, please feel free to ask any questions and I will reply to them in the next video and link that in a reply. So it would take me a minute to pull up your entire chart. And in terms of, you know, I see something from someone named Deepak. Thank you so much for being here. And you are a Sagittarius, it looks like, and you're wondering about work opportunities. And I can't pull up your whole chart, especially without a time and a place for the date of birth. And I also don't necessarily think that astrology should be used to tell us when things are going to happen or whether or not they should happen. You move towards what you want to move towards, and then check in with the astrology to see, is there anything for me here that I should know? You know, what's going right? What I'm wanting right now is to move and get this government job that I'm looking for. What can my astrology and the astrology of right now tell me about that, right? So like one thing I would say, for example, is that with Jupiter opposing your sun, Jupiter across the way from the sun, you probably are feeling quite ambitious right now, and that feeling of like sort of wanting more. And I also think with that Jupiter in Gemini, it can sort of show you more of what you don't want. You may have had a lot of light shine lately on what you don't want. And that's been going on for 6 months and will continue to go on for 6 months. And sometimes we learn so much about what we do want from understanding what we don't. You as a Sag Sun have a very optimistic spirit. And I can see it working really well in a job like that. So continue to learn more about where you're going, you know, lean into that ambition, explore horizons, and, you know, maybe see if there's some things that you've learned about what doesn't work for you that can help sort of broaden your perspective and point you towards some different opportunities that align with what you do want. And then I see someone as well who's talking about being born on the 12th of June, but I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. But it's interesting that I just said all that and you're a Gemini. And so you probably have been learning about stuff that you don't want to. And for you, it may have been stuff that isn't working about how you're showing up in the world lately. You know, you may have sort of been, you know, as Jupiter moves over your sun, it's a very positive, expansive transit. This is a great sort of this last 6 months behind us and the 6 months ahead. Really kind of right now, if you're born on the 12th, it must be quite close to your sun. It's a time of expansion and growth and development and forward positive movement and expansion. So that what I was just describing to the person who left the last comment with the sun opposing Jupiter and that desire for more. It's like you had that maybe 6 or 7 years ago. You had that feeling of like, I really, really want more. And now there's a way in which like your life is sort of expanding and opening up and deepening and broadening because of the work that you've been doing the last few years because you wanted more. And now you may be realizing a little bit with Jupiter there, first of all, really enjoying this expansion and maybe identifying some things about yourself and the way that you're shining your light in the world, your sun, that you want to let go of, that don't work anymore for you, that don't feel like a fit. Um, so I hope that those comments were helpful. Please feel free to submit a follow-up question in the comments and I'll get back to you about that tomorrow. I love the questions. Keep them coming. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I will be back tomorrow. Be on the lookout for opportunities.